So now we will take up the next problem. So in this problem, the core is shown in the figure, has a permeability of 4000, and the central limb is required to carry the flux of 0.1 Weber, and then we need to find the current needed for the exciting coil. Okay, so in the central limb the flux has been given. Flux in the central limb is 0.01 Weber. Okay, so first we need to draw the electrical analogy of it. So here you can see that, so if this coil is energized, so it will produce the flux. Let's say the current entering into the this coil in this direction. So by right hand rule, if you see, so it will push the flux in this direction. So let's say the flux which is flowing here is phi. So once this flux starts flowing, it will have, once it reaches at A, it will have two paths. So let's say the flux which is coming here is, the central limb is phi 1, and another flux which is going in the right hand side of it is phi 2. Okay, so this flux will actually come here, will take this path, and here again it would be phi. So what we can see is, for this region we can lump, for this region which I have marked in green, we can lump the reluctance as 1, and then again for this central limb we can again lump this reluctance as well, and then for the right limb as well we can have the other reluctances. So let's say the MMF plus here minus here, and this is pushing the flux phi, and for the for the one which I have marked in green, I will say okay, this is reluctance RL for the left hand side. For the central limb, I am saying it that reluctance I am representing it by a resistance. So RC, and in the right hand side, if you can see, there are two mediums. One is this core, another is this air, and both these two medium have different permeability, though the area is same. So for these two different permeabilities material, we will show two reluctances. So one is RR for right hand side, the entire reluctance which I can lump for the right hand side except for the air gap, and then reluctance for the air gap Rg. So here it is phi, here it is phi 2, and here it is phi 1. So given is phi 1 is 0.01 Weber. Now you see the path through which this flux is flowing, the length of that path is not given, though instead of that in the previous problem the length was given, but here the length is not given, rather the dimension of this core is given. So now we need to find the dimension, or we need to find the length through which this flux will actually travel, because the reluctance, if you see, let's say for RL, so the reluctance for left hand side would be given by 1 upon mu naught mu R, L stands for length for the left hand side, upon area A. So area A is given here, it says 4 by 4 centimeter is coil throughout. So everywhere it is 4 by 4. And what about similarly for RC? I need 1 upon mu naught mu R LC by A. Similarly for RR, 1 upon mu naught mu R LR upon A. And for RG it is 1 upon mu naught LG upon A. So now we need to find L. So here, if you will see, if I take the if I take this dimension, the outermost, so obviously the length would be different, and if I take the innermost, the length would be minimum, and the outermost, the length would be maximum. But what we do is we take a mean of it. That's why we say it's a mean flux or mean path length. Okay, so for LL, we can see that from A till here it is 2 centimeter plus till here this side. Okay, that is 20 centimeter plus again the center of this width, it is again 2 centimeter. So twice of it will give me this dimension as well, from here till here, from here till here. Okay, now this much we need more. So this is from this end till this, it is 2 centimeter, and then again this entire is given as 25 centimeter, so we'll take 25 here. So this is plus 2 plus 25, then again plus 2 for this one, plus 2. So entire, if you'll see this LL is actually equal to, so this value LL would be 77 into 10 raised to power minus 2 meter. Similarly for LC, if you'll see, for LC it would be 25 plus 2 plus 2, which is 29 into 10 raised to power minus 2. And similarly for LR, it would be same as LL minus 0.02, which would be 76.98 into 10 raised to power minus 2. And LG is given, so LG is 0.02 into 10 raised to the power minus 2 meter. So these are all in meters now. Okay, so once we know the length, area is given, so we can calculate RL. So RL would be 1 upon mu naught mu R LR. So mu naught mu R is 4 pi into 10 raised to the power minus 7 into, and mu R is 4000. So relative permeability has been given, and no other information is there, so we will assume that this 4000 is constant there. Okay, so it's a linear one. And then LR would be so LL would be 77 into 10 raised to the power minus 2 upon 16 into 10 raised to the power minus 4. So if you calculate, this will come out to be 95741 ampere turn per Weber. Similarly for R we can calculate. So for RR it would be 9, 5, 7, 1, 6 ampere turn per Weber. So RR you can put the length LR here. So this would be 76.98 into 10 to the power minus 2, and rest will remain same. So if you calculate, this value will come. So here for RC, reluctance for the center path, RC, it would be, so while putting the value of LC here, you can calculate RC and you will see that this value will come out to be 36058 ampere turn per Weber. And what about RG? So RG would be 0.02 into 10 raised to power minus 2 upon here, because it's the air one, only air, so it would be mu naught only, which is 4 pi into 10 raised to the power minus 7 into 16, because the fringing effect was not mentioned, so we can assume it to be neglected. So 16 into 10 raised to power minus 4 meter square. So this will come out to be 99471.8 ampere turn per Weber. So what you can see is the small reluctance, a small air gap of 0.02 centimeter is actually producing the reluctance of almost comparable of the entire length of the core. Okay, for RR or for the left hand side or for the right hand side reluctance, almost in that range, a small 0.02 centimeter of length of air gap is producing this much of reluctances to the flux. So once we know all these reluctances, okay, so all these reluctances are known. Now what it says is, at A and B, what it says is that central limb is required to carry the flux of 0.1 Weber. Let's say, since central limb carries flux of 0.01 Weber. So flux is known, reluctance is known. We can say the MMF between F, A and B would be the flux in that path. So MMF here between, for A, MMF is comparable to the, in terms of electrical circuit, if you see, it would be the voltage drop there. So MMF drop we can find here. MMF across A and B would be, FAB would be phi 1, because we have assumed for central limb the flux is phi 1 into RC. So 0.01 Weber into RC is 36058 Weber. Sorry, 36058 ampere turn. Okay, so FAB is known to us. Okay. Now since FAB is known to us, that is MMF across A and B is known to us. So obviously same MMF would be appearing across R and RG. See, same MMF, because in electrical circuit, if this is the voltage or the potential difference between A and B, same potential difference will appear across RR and RG. Okay, in this branch. So what we can say is, so now MMF is known, reluctance of that path is known, we can calculate phi 2. So now phi 2 would be FAB upon RR plus RG. So this FAB would be, so this is actually equal to 360.58 ampere turn. So this is 360.58 ampere turn divided by reluctance RR. So RR is 95716 plus RG is 99471. Okay, so this would be Weber's. So phi 2 is known to us now. So this phi 2 is 0.00184 Weber. So once phi 2 is known, phi 1 is known. So phi 2 is known, phi 1 is known. What I can say is this phi would be equal to phi 1 plus phi 2. Okay. So phi is equal to phi 1 plus phi 2. So 0.01 plus 0.00184 Weber, which is actually equal to, this is equal to 0.01184 Weber. Okay. So once this flux is known, flux in this branch is known, so the question requires the current needed for the exciting coil. So I know the MMF, main MMF would be N into I. So number of turn is known, this I is known. So to find but I don't know this F now. So we need to find this total F, total ampere turn or total MMF. Once I know the total MMF required to drive that much flux there, I can easily calculate the current there. Okay. So if you see the MMF, if you see this branch, there are two approaches of it. There can be two approaches of it. So this MMF between A and B is known. So I know the MMF required for this. So this MMF plus this much MMF required for the left portion will actually give me the total MMF there. Okay. So this F would be actually FL, I would say, plus FAB, because same FAB is also appearing on the right limb. So FL can be given as phi L, or I would say phi, because I have taken phi there. So phi into reluctance of left path plus FAB. So this would be total MMF there, F total or F. I think we have assumed F there. So this is F. Okay. So phi we have calculated 0.01184 into RL. RL is 95741 plus FAB is 360.58 ampere turn. 360.58. So this will come out to be 1494 ampere turn. So this is an I. So this I can be given as 1494 divided by 500 turns is equal to ampere. So this is 2.98 ampere. The other approach can be, since I know the total flux, so total MMF would be phi total, which is actually coming out from this branch, phi total, plus the entire reluctance of that path, the product of flux, because MMF is flux into the reluctance, or flux is MMF by reluctance. So this would be R equivalent. So if I know the reluctance of the entire that branch, I can, and if I know the flux in the branch where the MMF is coming, the main MMF is connected, then we can easily compute this F as well. So phi is known to us, R equivalent we need to find. So this phi and R equivalent, if you'll see, it would be, what would be R equivalent here? R equivalent would be RL plus RC, which is in parallel with RR plus RG. Okay, RL plus RC parallel with RR plus RG. Okay, RL plus RC in parallel with RR plus RG. So this phi RL is known to as RL plus RC into RR plus RG, parallel of two resistance. Same here, upon RC plus RR plus RG. So this phi into R equivalent, if you see, it will come out to be 126,176 ampere turn. Phi is known to us 0.1184 into 126,176 phi, that is ampere turn. 0.018. So this will come out to be 1493.9 ampere turn. Okay. So and I, and then again you can compute I here, would be 1493.9 divided by 500 will actually give me the I here, which is 2.9x. Okay, so now apply two approaches here. So hope this, in the previous problem we have just taken one series of core and the air reluctances. Here we have shown that how the flux is divided in the central limb and how the series parallel combination of the reluctances can be formed. But this problem was based on when we have said that permeability of the material is a constant one, or it's a linear circuit here. Directly we can apply the reluctances and the expression for reluctances, flux, and these things here. Okay. So till now we have discussed about some magnetic quantities, and then we have talked about the MMF reluctances and permeability of a ferromagnetic material, and then we have taken up two problems. Now in the next lectures we would be discussing about, so all these circuits or all these magnetic circuits was assumed that a DC current is actually flowing there. Yeah, this was done for the DC one. And next lecture we will discuss about the AC excitation of a magnetic circuit. Okay, because that would be the base to understand the principle of uh, operating principle of transformers in detail, which is the next unit there. Okay, so we'll stop here.